everyone, Lego Mega 96-1 here with another review. Well guys, Christmas has come and gone, and for the past couple of days I've been feeling some post-Christmas blues right now. But what has Santa got for me? A Union frock coat, 2 Civil War DVDs, a gift card to Chick-fil-A, a gift card to Amazon. Whose Boat Is This Boat by Donald John Trump, by accident, and no upcoming tickets for the Donald Trump impeachment trial? Well, there's always next year, right guys? Right. And okay, I didn't get anything when I wanted for Christmas, that's on my list, but I did get some cool stuff, right? Right. But, enough of that. It's time to get to a review. For this review, guys, I'm going to be reviewing the second Ghost Train film, called Ghost Train 2, The Clinchfield Curse. Based off an old YouTube series and a fanfiction by KaneFan701 on DeviantArt, The Clinchfield Curse tells the story of a demonic ghost train that haunts Black Wolf Mountain in the United States and now haunts Sodor. But is this movie good than the first film, or even better than the first film? Well, let's dive right in and have a look. This is my review of Ghost Train 2, The Clinchfield Curse. So our movie begins up in the mountains in the year 1957 on the Canton Southwestern Railroad on Halloween night. We see one of our main characters and who will become the main villain, the Clinchfield 311.
Well, old girl, it looks like we've got a storm coming in.
Just my luck. Having to take this train and then take another one down the mountain in a storm.
Hey, could be worse. You'd be taking a passenger train down a mountain while it's snowing. So battling bad weather, the Clinchfield 311 gets ready to head on down the mountain. But on the way down, there's trouble ahead. The storm had gotten worse, and due to it, is causing flash floods and losing rocks and trees on the banks. Word of advice, if you're on a train and you're traveling through a bad storm, don't risk it. If you do, this happens.
What should I do?
Don't risk it. So the next morning, a crew comes out to see the wreckage of what happened last night. Now, for what I can gather, the bridge collapsed underneath 311. Herself, her train, and the crew disappear without a trace. Now, I'm probably ballparking it, but do you think that river could be connected to the Bermuda Triangle, maybe? Nah, that's just a silly thought. So after they build a newer and stronger bridge, life seems to go back to normal. Or so they think. Yes, ladies and gents, introducing the Demon 311.
According to the legend, if you walk alone on the mountain line of the Highland Valley Logging and Mining Company Railroad in the fall, you might just hear the cry of a whistle in the wind. If you're brave enough to walk the line during the thunderstorm on Halloween, you might just get a glance of a 482 with a blood-red lamp. As it flares past you, it's whistling, screaming into the distance, only to vanish in the night.
Okay, that is a pretty awesome opening. Talk about an awesome move into a fan-made film. So we jump to Sodor as we see a workman who's examining a light post, making sure it's working properly. As he's working on it, he hears the sound of an engine puffing towards him.
Huh? It must be Gordon on his way back from Vickerstown.
How can it be me if I'm nowhere over there?
What the? Who in the name of smoke bucks and pistons are you?
The Union Pacific Big Boy? No, this is actually the Clincfield 311, ready to strike on Sodor.
not surprised. I remember you back when you were just a child. Count your lucky stars, boy, for you're not on the wanted list. Your great-grandfather was once a good man, someone whom many thought was a friend. But his mistrust ended up costing his life thanks to that engine on the CSW years ago. And do you know why?
Why?
Because I was that engine!
Okay, I am sorry for asking that. I'm going to be using this tonight for protection. So we jump to autumn in the year 2017 as the engines are hard at work. But not only that, the Yankees have arrived. That's right, ladies and gents, good old American steam has made its way to Sodor. And you know, I'm actually kind of curious. What kind of music did the crew of Sodor play when the American steam engines arrived? Did they play over there an old World War I song? If so, it would be pretty awesome. Now, the name of these engines are David, Louise, Ariel, Luke, and Jason. They come all the way from the States to help out with the engines for the autumn season. So later that night, after a hard day's work, the American engines hang out with the engines of Sodor, and they trade stories of supernatural occurrences that happen on Sodor, and even in the States.
Your railroad is full of all kinds of unknown and ghostly things that are full of mysteries.
And not to mention, some are just as scarier as the ones we've encountered back at home in the United States.
You can say that again, Louise.
What's it like over there? None of us have ever been to the railways you run on.
Please tell us.
Oh, the railroads in the U.S. is amazing. We got lovely scenery, we got lovely historical areas, and we got lovely diesel and steam locomotives. And word of advice, if you plan to visit Washington, don't be visited by this guy. He has ties to Russia. True story.
We've had several, but none of them would ever scare you.
Well, I'll accept the curse of the Clinchfield.
Don't bring that up, Louise. She might come here and curse these locos and their railroad.
Who will?
Who's Clinchfield?
What curse?
Oh, her? Oh, she's no one. She's nothing. There's no Clinchfield. There's no curse. There's absolutely nothing. It's just some silly fairy tale or something. Can't hide this any longer. The American locals decided to tell the engines of Sodor the story of the Clinchfield.
The engine that comes from this story is legendary and very haunted.
You mean like the untold story of Timothy that we told you about?
You could say that, but this one has been talked about for almost 6 decades, and everyone in America knows about it.
Just like that YouTube series many years ago. So David will go on to say that the Clinchfield 311 has pretty much a pretty dark past. How dark? Well, she'll cause accidents left and right, bring nothing but problems left and right, and the costing to keep her running is, well, it's insane. I'm not gonna lie. It's pretty bad. During all this, Luke comes in to fill in the gap of 311.
Clinchfield 311 departed the logging camp with a logging train in the mountain and started the down descent. Not long after she left, the weather changed for the worse. It was one of the worst storms in U.S. history.
Much worse than the blizzard of 1996. P.S. It really did happen here. It really did happen.
The Miller River Bridge was the last bridge between the mountain line and the safety of the yard. However, the flash flood had loosened large rocks and trees from the banks, causing them to plummet into the raging rapids below. Since the bridge was made out of wood at the time, the force of the water and debris slowly took out the supports. When they were starting to cross the bridge, its supports finally gave, and it collapsed, taking the train along with its crew into the river below. Ever since the night of October 31st, 1957, Over and over again, once every year, the spirit of 311, otherwise known as the Demon 311, is either heard coming from the mountain or can be seen sitting there, shining her ghostly red headlight at you, and whooshing ghostly red steam, or thundering by where the accident occurred, trying to cross the bridge, but she never reaches the other side.
Well, now I know what I'm doing tonight. Keep an eye out for the demon. If you'll excuse me, I'm gonna go set up my defenses. So the next morning, the subject of 311 spread down the line like wildfire, in which many people have mixed reactions to the Clinchfield.
Luke! It happened again! I saw her. Last night, while I was delivering my freight train, she came right past me, ringing her bell.
You mean you saw...
Yes, Luke. It's unbelievable. But the curse has struck again.
Dear God. And you know, I'm actually kind of curious. How does this curse work?
It starts to rain, and the fog rolls in. If you hear the bell or a whistle, you better shut your eyes and try and block out the sound. However, if you see the Demon 311, just remember, you cannot run, you cannot hide, you will be found, but will never live to tell the tale.
Again, I say, dear God.
But despite what I said, run like hell, and for any scrappers on this island, beware of the red lamp, for you'll never know when the ghost of Black Wolf Mountain will show herself.
Okay, I'll take note of it. Keep an eye out for a red light, hear the whistle, and if you see her, run like the devil. So later on that foggy night, Gordon takes the express, as usual, until he sees something through the fog that's coming in his direction.
Stop! There's another engine in front of me! Driver, brakes! Now!
But before a collision could happen, the light mysteriously disappeared and Gordon is left confused.
What happened? Where'd it go?
Oh, it went over there, and up there. The crew and the guard looked all around to see if they could find the engine, but ultimately they found nothing.
Is this some sort of joke? We looked around, but we haven't found anything. Are you sure you weren't seeing things?
I wouldn't joke about something as serious as this. I really saw another engine.
As proven by seeing a bright shiny light ahead of Gordon, almost like a head-on collision. I mean, seriously, didn't you two see it? I mean, do you need your eyes examined? Do you need glasses? Just concerned for you guys, that's all. I really am, trust me. So after taking the express, after encountering the 311, he tells the other engines what he has seen.
I saw what I saw. There was lights on my line.
Did anyone else see them?
No one that I know of. I mean, my crew didn't see them.
Maybe you weren't hallucinating, Gordon. Maybe you were. We don't know. All we know is you thought you saw another engine on the line, but you never collided into anything.
I was not Oh, never mind. Forget I said anything.
Okay, I'll give it 1 point for Gordon's funny scene. 1 point. On a little western, the 311 curse is struck again, scaring both Oliver and Duck.
Daddy, what's that big American locomotive?
It's best of you not to know.
The next morning at Knapford, Oliver and Gordon tell the American locals of what they have encountered.
I heard the bell and whistle before seeing the engine itself, and then it vanished into the mist.
But something doesn't seem right. You two are still here and not gone.
I just noticed that myself. Because you said that if any of us get encountered with the 311, none of us will be around anymore after seeing it.
Maybe the 311 is not interested in British steam. Yeah, I know. I went there, yeah. Alright guys, we'll be right back. After these messages, I'll be speaking to a Mr. Mark Hamill. Alright, ladies and gents, my next guest had appeared in films such as Star Wars, Batman the Animated Series. What the hell am I doing? Back to the review! So the Flying Scotsman show up while James and Emily are talking about the Clinchfield 311, and he tells them of his encounter of encountering the Clinchfield 311 when he was touring the United States in 1969. That's pretty awesome.
But what I found strange about it is that even though she was looking at me in a very menacing way, she did not see me as a threat, or that my number was not the same as hers.
Wait a minute. Now, if I got this right, the Clinchfield 311 goes after engines that bear the same number as hers? Okay, I'll buy it.
That day has never left my mind. But what makes it more worse? I never told my former owner, Alan Pegler, all about it. I wish I had done before he passed away in March 2012 at the age of 91 after a short illness. I regret it deeply. I really do.
I'm sorry to hear that, Scotsman. But I'm here for you. Hashtag love for Scotsman. So later on that night, Henry takes a flying kipper, as usual, until all of a sudden, the rain came down hard and the fog came down thick and fast. He slows down on the viaduct until he encounters the Demon 311. Come anywhere towards me and I will slice you into tiny bite-sized pieces. And I will mean it. Once I start swinging this, I'm warning you!
The Demon 311!
This is way scarier than the time of my encounter with Timothy in my own tunnel! So after encountering the Demon 311, Henry tells it to Gordon, who tells it to Edward of what happened.
Hey, Gordon, I heard you saw strange lights on the main line 2 nights ago?
I'm not too sure. As I said before, they are rather close to each other.
In other words, he's not hallucinating.
Henry had an encounter of the ghost train last night, and he was terrified almost out of his frames. Just like me and Oliver. He wasn't taken or didn't vanish without a trace. Do you think perhaps this ghost engine is after one of us?
Not exactly. She goes after engines that bear the same number as hers. So, pretty much you guys off the hook. At the narrow gauge line, the little engines were getting ready for work. But all that changed until they encountered the Demon 311.
Who in the name of rock and roll was that?
What the? No way. That can't be the...
It is! That was the ghost of 311!
It's almost unbelievable. But the legend is true.
Indeed it is.
And in case all of you guys are wondering, yes, the voice of Renee's is me. Yours truly. And before I could go on, I want to say something real quick. During the production of the Clinchfield Curse, I was the original narrator. If you could look up draft part 1 of the Clinchfield Curse, you would hear my voice in part 1, when narrating the story. But Kane Fan would have me as a cameo instead because narrating is hard work. I'm not gonna lie, it's pretty hard. Still, I can't wait to see what Kane Fan has in store for this year. I'm keeping my fingers crossed. No, I mean it. I'm keeping my fingers crossed. So at an old abandoned workplace, a familiar friend of ours watched the Clinchfield 311 roll by. Oh God! Okay, that's gonna haunt me in my nightmares.
Little brother, wherever you are, watch your back at every turn, for your end is coming.
Lay one buffer on your brother and you'll be sliced into ribbons. Mark those words. Seeing Ariel in the siding looking down, Edward goes over to talk to her.
Something the matter, madam?
It's got nothing to do with you, Mr. Edward. But if you want to know, it's to do with 311. Ever since she was mentioned here, some of you have had encounters with her, but have never become added victims to her curse. Many versions of 311's death have been told. All I know from my experience with her was that her accident was sudden and came without warning.
So Ariel will go on to say through a flashback that she had her own encounter with the Demon 311. It's pretty sad to say the least, but I can't help but feel sorry for her. I mean, she was terrified. Terrified out of her frames. I mean, hell, if I see the Demon 311, I'm packing my things and running out west. And I'm not stopping until I am far away from her. So later on that night, Edward takes some scrap to the scrapyard until he encounters the Demon 311.
It's time, lads. Assembly! Prepare to fire!
So you're the legendary phantom that's been spreading terror around our island.
That's correct, old engine. I am the Clinchfield 311.
But you can call her Clinchfield.
Why are you here? Do you have a reason?
It's really simple. To find those that carry the same number as mine. For they are mocking me and what I once was.
So, wait a minute. You hunt down those that carry the same number as yours? Because they were mocking you? Okay, makes sense, but to me it feels... To be honest, it feels like Jango Fett going after his own clones because they carry the same face. P.S. That happened in the Legend comics. Look it up. It's actual proof. It is, trust me.
We engines on Sodor had nothing to do with your death. We are not worth taking. From what I can feel from you is that you're lost, deeply lost, and wanting to find peace.
Just like Darth Vader, who was a Jedi Knight by the name of Anakin Skywalker.
Madam, you must try and see sense that whatever was done is in the past. You must let go and move on. You're better than this, and you must be strong.
Shut up! Why don't you show them fear like the others do?
Please, madam. There is something left in you that will help you lay to rest.
I'll spare you for now. Consider this mercy from the demon. I may have discovered someone else who would be a much better selection to take with me and be a new victim to my curse.
Over?
Who are you talking to, Edward? You don't believe in all this 311 rubbish, do you?
I wasn't talking to anyone. I was just...
What the hell was that?
Another ghost engine? But who?
I think I know who.
It's him!
Who are you?
I'm gone. Actually, he was talking to Edward, who he met many years ago as a ghost demon. Don't believe me? Here's a flashback to prove it.
It was when he was much younger and remembered seeing Timothy's ghost.
Who is that? He's painted silver like Timothy, but he's not the same.
I hate you. You, like many others who fear me, are now trying to discard me.
I'm not joking, am I?
You're right.
So this scene where Edward and Timothy are talking to each other is actually a pretty cool scene. And to be honest, I don't know why Edward is actually talking to spirits. Maybe he's a part-time medium? Well, it's my theory.
Whatever you're up to or trying to come up with, you'll never take him away. Sodor would be nothing without him. Can't you see that?
You don't even know the real truth of why I'm still wanting my brother gone, you old fool!
Good God, you're harping on him like Garlem harping on his ring.
Thomas is my precious, precious!
Soon as time will come.
Not as long as we're here. You'll never win this. I saw 311 moments ago, and I tried to get her to find peace and move on. You'll do the same thing. I just know you will, Timothy. There is some good left in you. I know it, Thomas knows it, but most of all, you know it.
So we see a light side of Timothy and explains why he won't let go of his dark past and move on. And this is just me. I think the demon side and the light side of Timothy are inspiration from Dr. Jekyll and Edward Hyde. But if we see a confirmation video of Timothy with his dark side, that'd be awesome.
I'm sorry. I can only plead forgiveness when it happens. If not, then I'll have no choice but to take those he cares and loves so much to make him surrender to me. Until then, goodbye, old acquaintance.
Now if you'll excuse me, I'm going to be in the music video with Jekyll and Hyde. So after that, we cut to Thomas and Rosie, who are helping Mavis out in the quarry. So after that, Thomas and Rosie head to the shed to begin to fall asleep. But through the fog, Thomas can see an unfamiliar engine through the fog.
That almost looked like Percy.
No, I'm not. Just pretend I'm not even here. Just go back to sleep. Doobie-doobie-doo. I'll just be on my way now. Catch you later.
So later on that night, Thomas has a nightmare as he finds himself on the Kirk Ronan Branch 2.0.
It's so thick.
How thick is the fog? Is it
extra thick?
I will be here all night long. Thomas ventures further until he discovers a half-submerged bridge. He backs up just in time, but he encounters the Clinchfield 311.
Even if you are an innocent tank engine, I will finish what I started and complete my curse.
And now will be a good time to run. So Thomas does get away as he ventures down another line. This time, stopping at an almost familiar place. Did we discover Lady's hideout in the Clinchfield Curse movie? I knew it. I knew she had to be in this movie. Where are you?
Who goes there?
Not only is the Clinchfield 311 in his Thomas's nightmare, Timothy's in his nightmare too. Yes, I can see this going well.
Have no fear, little brother. You're not alone anymore. I'm here now. Here to comfort you. Your friends were lost too, and they sadly ended up dying despite I tried to save them. They're in a better place now, Thomas. And so will you.
What?
What do you mean by that?
Your end is about to come, and I will fulfill my call and avenge you.
About earlier, I might have spoken too soon.
I'm afraid. Time to die, little tank engine.
Oh, not good.
Yes, time to finally rest in peace, little brother. Or should I say, burn!
Please, don't.
What the hell?
what he said. And pretty sure that is everyone's reaction to that scene. In fact, that scene is so creepy, it'll make Freddy Krueger jealous.
See you in court.
So after encountering both Timothy and the Clinchfield 311 in his nightmare, Thomas continued on with his work. But all that changed because due to flash flooding, Thomas gets stuck in the floodwater.
Well, that's done it. We're not going anywhere now.
That Ben! Telling me if it was safe to puff through, I'll give him a piece of my mind the next time I see him.
So yeah, in case you guys have missed it, Bill and Ben played a trick on Thomas, and now thanks to Bill and Ben's trick, Thomas gets stuck in the floodwater. Ben, that cheeky rascal, he'll be sorry for this. Responding to trouble, Bill and Ben pull Thomas and the train out of the water and take them back to the quarry. Lesson learned. So Thomas sleeps until he is awakened by the Clinchfield 311. Jesus! Talk about an Undertaker-themed appearance.
Hello there, little angel.
No. No. No way.
Prepare yourself to join those who came before you.
Fire by company, ready! They're not armed, sir. Aim! But they're Union boys.
So much fear in such a small engine. However, little number one, we will meet again. So enjoy the time while it lasts.
So, surprisingly enough, Thomas meets one of Miss Jennings' vehicles named Marianne, who knew the Clinchfield 311. What a twist.
Tell me about her, please. I want to know more.
I met Jessica, or 311 as everyone calls her, back in America when the Clinchfield Railroad was starting to expand.
Wait, what was her name again?
I met Jessica, or 311 as everyone calls her.
Jessica? So, you're telling me that the Clinchfield 311's real name is Jessica? Okay, I'll accept it. But I'm just asking a question. Is she by any chance that name related to Jessica Kringle from Rankin Bass Santa Claus is Coming to Town, or Jessica Rabbit from Who Framed Roger Rabbit? Just asking. So Marianne tells us, hey, it's Samson! I recognize that engine right off the bat. Oh man, so much nostalgia. Okay, well, back to the review. Marianne tells Thomas on how she met Jessica back on the Clinchfield, and how Jessica had a pretty messed up past.
Listen, 311, do us all a favor. Quit jinxing our railroad. Transfer to another, or go and chuff off a bridge. There's no room for a jinx killer like you on the Clinchfield.
Okay, not cool. I mean, sure, Jessica had pretty much a bad record. She caused problems and bring uprisings here and there, but she's a decent engine. And something like that ought to get you fired. In fact, if I was a boss and I hear you saying something like that to a train, I'd fire you guys in a goddamn heartbeat. And I will. Mark those words.
Now, you listen here, Sugar. There ain't no reason to have that sort of attitude. Every machine's built for a reason.
Thank you very much. I needed a little pick-me-up after today. You know, I never did catch your name.
Marianne's the name, and digging for railroads is my game. You got a name, stranger, or do they all call you 311?
I do have a real name. I had to name myself since nobody gave me one officially. It's Jessica.
And no relationship to the Rankin Bass or the Roger Rabbit version. I just want to keep it all loosey-goosey.
Jessica and I were close friends for a few years. But when I found out about the crash, it devastated me. I was left wondering why she did what she did. What was her motive? Why would she end her life in such a tragic way, similar to that of your own brother?
Because in truth, most people are jerks. They would treat other people and machinery, including animals, with disrespect.
The day had come at last. All the engines were getting set up for Halloween. Several parties of people, young and old alike, would come to dress up as many different scary forms of costumes, such as witches, mummies, vampires, and zombies.
Plus, it's also the night where Grim Grinny Ghosts come out to socialize. So, after a hard day's work, and after putting up most of the Halloween decorations, the American and Sodor engines get ready for the 311's arrival, knowing they'll be scared out of their goddamn minds.
I don't like the looks of this.
It's here somewhere. I can sense it.
Sense it? I can feel it, and it's creeping the hell out of me.
Well, the Clincfield and Timothy are just like the Galactic Empire. They rule through fear.
Guys, look!
She's here.
I guess the Three Stooges learned from Shorty.
Run, bitch! Run!
Thank you, Shorty. That's right, ladies and gents, the Clinchfield is here, ready to strike.
If you're here to take us, do it now. We can't even bear to look at you anymore.
The end has come, guys. Might as well say our farewells.
This is it! Goodbye, Sodor!
Gentlemen, it has been a privilege playing with you tonight.
You're not all evil, are you?
There is a part of you that still holds goodness within, madam.
She won't listen, Edward. Don't even try and help her. If you do, she'll...
It's worth it for me to have another try.
So Edward plucks up courage and confronts the 311.
You should be with your friends. Those that were there for you. They might be missing you right now. Time has moved on since the tragic accident in 1957, and we on the island of Sodor think you should too.
But sadly, it backfires a little.
Before that happens, there is one question everyone wants to know. Why have you been called the demon for all of these years?
So, blinding herself in red steam, just go that it'll last longer. We get a light side of Jessica, and she explains why has she been called the demon for some time.
It so happened to be the thing that I learned to live with. But I'm not a demon. I never was. I only called myself that, all because of the bad things I had to go through.
I feel the same way. In fact, we've done some bad things that we weren't very proud of, but we can learn from our mistakes. We're people. And it's okay to make mistakes from time to time, but heck, we can learn from our mistakes. Think about it.
Being called a hoodoo or jinx locomotive hurt me and filled me with shame. Now I'm here on a railway far from home, spreading my legend along for others to know and understand what I went through in my life. And yet here I stand and you don't show it.
Now that you've told us, we can actually understand why you've been feared by so many over the years. You have my sympathy.
How can you not be afraid of me?
Well, because you're a lost soul and you need help. And Edward and the rest of the engines on Sodor are there to help you, as well as your American locomotive brethren.
There's no way I can go and move on. For nearly 60 years, I've tried to cross over that very same place where my life ended, but I failed time and time again. And to those in the CSW who grew into mistrusting me, the company's president and the board of directors looking at me as a liability that needed to be put down. The only real friends I ever had were my engineer, my fireman, and the manager. They were the only ones who really cared about me. Now that I'm here on Sodor, a railway I heard of, I've wanted more. To feel my suffering, my loneliness, my pain and the misery that I've had to put up with.
can't but feel sorry for her. That loco has put so much effort and so much hard work, and yet people just pushed her aside. How cruel can people be? How cruel can people be? How cruel?
But a rescue operation from the CSW was sent to find you, but they never did.
They did find me. However, they could have recovered and restored me, but they didn't. The manager wasted no time in setting up the cranes to start clearing the debris. The company president arrived not long after they had started lifting the remains of the few flats.
I want the bodies of the engineer, fireman, and conductor removed from the wreck as quickly as possible. Then clean up the rest of these cars.
And what of the 311?
That locomotive has caused more damage to this railroad than any other I've seen in my 40 years as president of this company. It was about time that she was put in her rightful place.
But sir, we can't just leave her here. She doesn't deserve to be simply forgotten just because of something she could not control.
Silence! Now do as I say and clean this mess up, or I will end up releasing you as your role as manager. Understand?
Shame on you, sir!
Shame on you! Shame on you!
Shame on you! Shame on you!
Crucify him! Crucify him! Crucify him! Crucify him!
Yes, shame on the president of the CSW indeed. You know what? In fact, I got a little homework assignment for you guys. After this review, I want you to write down in the comment section down below, who can you compare the president of the CSW to? In fact, I'm going to put up 3 pictures and I want you to write down the possible answer and why. So, let's begin. I wish you all the best of luck.
The manager headed back to the work crew, and the president climbed into his car and headed back down the mountain to Campton. I was so heartbroken and enraged by what he had said. By the next day at dawn, the wreck was cleared away, but I remained in my watery grave. To this day, my remains are still there, but no one has ever noticed.
How awful.
How heartbreaking. And the president who I blamed the most would meet a worthy death, and that was my ultimate revenge. That no good, idiotic...
No. No, 311. I did. I avenged you.
Yes, ladies and gents, the manager and 311's crew, the spirits of them appeared in front of the Clinchfield 311.
The president of CSW died because of me. I was the one who killed him.
But why? Why? I thought I had done what was to be. What did you do? What happened to the president of the CSW?
So, the 311's manager, voiced by, surprisingly enough, by Victor Tanzig, sorry if I butchered your name, explains why he got revenge on the president of the CSW.
Where one fellow worker told me, when no one was looking, about the information and files of you being destroyed. I was very upset, and my pain over your loss got worse.
Well, it's just like what I said earlier. How cruel can people be? Refusing to lift an engine up from water or from a crash, that's cruel. Burning any records of her, that's cruel. Scrappier, well, it pretty much was her time. But it's considered cruel! So we see the workers gathered in front of the president's office, and they're talking over why the president's ego has gone too far.
This is just ridiculous. He doesn't seem to give a damn about what he does, or no matter how much we try to work hard for him nowadays. He's just running this company into the ground. Not to mention he's cutting corners on our paychecks, which absolutely suck, including mine. Yeah, my paychecks suck too, and I'm not getting the right amount of money either. He needs to retire and have someone to take over so that we can keep the Campton Southwestern Railroad running.
That, or we could try this.
Crucify him! Crucify him! Crucify him! Crucify him!
But that's just me.
Hey! Quit your moaning and get back to work! This is my company, and you will follow every order that I say. Got that?
So later on that night, the former manager of the CSW stepped into the president's office, armed with a shotgun.
What the hell? Who are you, and what do you want?
Revenge for Clinchfield 311!
Jesus Christ! Talk about going Rambo. So after the former manager shot and killed the president and saved the files of the Clinchfield 311, he burned the car and walked across the bridge and stopped right at the spot on where the 311 crashed.
After 10 minutes, I saw your red light coming out and headed towards me. I didn't move and just stared at you until I closed my eyes, opened my arms out, and said it was over for us both before you consumed me, taking my life and adding me to your list of victims.
You shouldn't have done that. Had he been alive still, I would have taken him. He was a pathetic excuse for a man who left me and not to be recovered, and now in the afterlife, he's a pathetic excuse for a ghost.
Yeah, try telling that to Mr. Ravenswood and Ravenswood Manor.
It was my way of trying to end my pain as well as yours. He won't bother us anymore.
You're not the only one who wants to cross to the other side. We do too.
Yeah, we all do.
Do you think it is time to find peace?
Yes. Yes, it is time.
The time has come for it to end.
You've wanted to have peace for so long, and now we believe it's time that you take it and let go of what's happened to you in the past.
Take our word for it. Please accept.
He's right, yes, sir.
Come on, old girl. Let's finish what you couldn't and take that last ride together.
On this day forth, the Clinchfield Curse that was carried with me for years ends forever.
And with that, Jessica disappeared from Sodor and found herself back on Black Wolf Mountain, ready to cross the bridge one more time. But one question remains. Will she get across? And it turns out she does get across, and she vanishes into thin air. So with the Clinchfield Curse over and the American locals gone back home to the States, life on Sodor seems to return to normal. Now, the scene that is coming up, it happens to be one of my favorite scenes in the movie. The scene that is coming up is where Sir Topham Hatt gets into an argument over one of his co-workers who that eating his meal while he was on his phone. Be it as it may, let's begin and watch.
Evening, sir. You look a bit cross.
It's alright I am, Henry. I wasted some of my money on McDonald's Big Mac Whopper and a KFC popcorn chicken with fries. Since Wiggles here had ate the whole lot, and all I had was a large Pepsi.
You jerk! Wait, seriously, you have fries? I want fries, man. Seriously, give me fries. I'm seriously having some french fries with chocolate lately. I want some fries. Give me fries. Give me fries. Give me fries! my apologies if you guys had to see that. There's a French fries monster inside me, and it's trying to get out. And I mean, we all had that, right? Right.
What was I supposed to do? Sit there and let it get cold?
I paid for it, you know, and you ate it all with my back turned. Next time you do that again, I'm firing you. I almost did the last time you failed to tell me that the toilet on Gordon's Express was out of use.
Sir Topham Hatt, just to let you know, bud, too much information. Or TMI for short. I'm just saying. TMI, buddy.
Fireman's most trusted man created his own food? Give me a break. Or in my case, a tender Welsh cold.
You can say that again.
So after that's settled, Henry tells Sir Topham Hatt that something is bothering Thomas, and it has something to do with Timothy.
Don't be so concerned, Henry. He's no longer a threat to us since he's unwelcomed on my railway. If he ever appears again, I'll make sure he's sent back to where he came from.
Yeah, I wouldn't be too sure about that, Sir Topham. Timothy is planning something very big, and I don't think you're gonna like this, friend. You're not, trust me. It's gonna be really bad.
And how will you do that?
With this magic lamp?
Hold your tongues, men.
Okay, K-Fed, that is funny, bud. I'll give you points for creativity. That is hilarious. And another thing, how did Sir Topham Hatt get the genie's lamp? Did he pay for it at Disneyland? Did one of the Disney cast members give it to him as a souvenir? That is a question that demands answering.
Oh, come on. Not that over-the-top punt line again. Have you been watching too many Disney films, sir?
I cannot believe she said that.
I guess we could bash her brains in seeing how we're twice her size, but gosh, darn it, I'm just so hurt.
Don't ever question about my favorite childhood film, Wiggles, or otherwise I won't take you to Disneyland again for this year's Christmas holiday that I saved and planned to take us on.
That's right. If you want to go to Disneyland, watch what you say. And don't say to someone that you've been watching too many Disney films. If you do, you'll be sorry, bud. I love Disney, and I will continue to love Disney until death. And I'm sure some people will.
It's been 2 years since the events, and we've not seen Timothy. Maybe he has left us. Yet that memory when I saw him at Ballyhoo Tunnel still burns in my mind. I just hope we don't encounter anything like him or 311 again, since those were near-death-like moments.
Whatever's bothering Thomas, I will see to it when I can.
Sir Topham Hatt, sir, to make up for this, and to prevent you from firing me, I'll buy you a Burger King meal along with a Subway, since the stores are still open for the next 2 hours.
Really? Thank you, Wiggles. That's why you're my most trusted man to have at my side, as well as my great friend.
So after Sir Topham Hatt gets his meal, we get one more shot of Black Wolf Mountain, and we get one more shot of the Clinchfield 311, and that marks the end of the movie. And that is my review on the Clinchfield Curse. What are my thoughts? I love this movie. This movie is really interesting, and I love the setting, the style, the creativity, and pretty much everything that has to do with the Clinchfield. Her backstory, how she became what she was, her path to redemption is just amazing. And a big shout out to Kane Fan, Shane Ortiz, Victor Tanzig, and to everyone else who took part into making and that was in the movie at the time. And, well, oh, and let's not forget, if you wish to read Kane Fan's fanfiction, you can find his DeviantArt channel on his YouTube channel. And if you wish to, feel free to watch this movie and read the fanfiction on Halloween. That's up to you. And, well, that's it for this review. And if you like what you see, please leave a like, comment, and subscribe to my channel. And as always, This is Lego Mega 96.1 signing off, and sleep well.